Welcome back, guys, to Trails Through Daybreak, where last episode, the Restless Carnival reached its climax as we stepped forward to face Gerard Dantes, learning he was a descendant of Calvardian royalty who the Sword of Divine Darkness and trigger for the nuke, Apeiron, was passed down to, and that his only motivation was to create an all-encompassing fear within the people before he engaged us in battle, with Van's hand forced as he ran through Almata's boss, who proclaimed he had found what he was looking for as he died. With Melchior setting the palace aflame with his bombs forcing us to escape, the chapter has come to a close, as we now find out what's next for Arkride Solutions. It had been 8 days since the events of Oracion came to a close. After the crisis was resolved, it was announced that the explosion of Ashtar Palace and Kray's destruction were the work of Almata. However, as if to quell any unease, it was also promptly announced that Almata was no more thanks to the CID and a number of external collaborators. With the last remaining nuclear device being recovered, the state of emergency around Edith was lifted the next day. This happened in tandem with fervent reports that the CEOs of the Quincy Company and Etwas had been formally arrested. This was a shock to many. The Quincy Company's products were beloved across the continent, and Etwas vehicles seen as a major status symbol. It was almost unfathomable that both men had been blackmailed into funding a terrorist organization. The Quincy Company's CEO being the father of a famous A-rank bracer added to much of the discussion as well. However, as his daughter personally led the charge on his arrest, the general public sentiment was one of compassion and concern. Oh, okay. And her attempt to turn in a bracer badge was summarily rejected by the guild's headquarters in Le Mans. Well, I'm glad, you know, I understand why she gave it in, because you never know how the public will view this, but it seems that the public have sympathy, so that's good. She definitely can retain her job. Calvard's economy, which had been briefly thrown into disarray by the state of emergency, was quick to return to relative normality. Yet some things would never return. The impending end of reparations continued to emit a small degree of unease among the populace. Still, this and the culmination of events had no ill effect on President Gramhart's approval rating. Indeed, they only served to increase it. His office stated that a memorial service for Kray would be held during December 1st Revolution Festival. Following that would be quite the reveal. The Calvard military's newest weapon would be on display. A symbol of the country overcoming its grief and moving forward with great strength.
So that's that, huh?
Yeah, well, Melchior's still on the run, which does bug me. But the authorities in the guild have taken out all their bases and secured any routes that could be used to flee the country. Their partners in crime are being taken care of too, right?
Indeed, the Gralsritter and Iscariot have put aside their differences for now to pursue the gardens. Several Jaegers, including those of Ikaruga, and even the Society have also been working toward that end.
Meanwhile, Heiwei and Marduk spearheaded the effort to expose all of Almata's connections. I believe their findings, which reveal a number of associates, have since been sold to the CID.
That's quite a lot.
Man, Gen and Sao never miss a beat.
Abby and the rest of our people have been hard at work with Eisenshield too.
As for the nuclear weapon, we don't need to worry about that either. Professor Hamilton and the other disciples supervised its disassembly, so it's no longer a threat. Professor Callahan isn't believed to have made any more, and the Mafia won't be capable of making more themselves anytime soon.
Even if the one sword capable of detonating them was still in their possession, they would still need a device to be detonated. I might add that Calvard is aiding the Congregation for the Sacraments in going through and clearing the rubble that was once Vashtar Palace. They expect to have finished the task and found that sword together with the halberd and armor artifacts by mid-next month.
None of them can be used by anyone but their rightful owner anyway, right? I guess once that's wrapped up, we'll be able to say this whole thing's well and truly over.
I suppose so, yes. To think we've persevered through so much.
We sure have.
I'm still worried about Melchior, though. Just to me, it's strange how no one seems to have any idea where he is.
I still can't believe what he did to his own boss. I don't know if I'll ever be able to understand how that guy thinks. Not that I want to.
Psychopath does psychopathic things. News at 11. Just how it is. I wish I could have taken revenge on the last asshole responsible for my bro's deaths, but can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave that one to the Oathbreakers people. They say you gotta fight poison with poison. Now it's time to see if he'll live up to that old saying.
Right, but at least now, the world can finally be at ease.
Agnès, are you still feeling guilty that you couldn't stop it all from happening? I am, but I'm also trying to tell myself that I did everything that I could, including for the children of Arasion. Even if I can't help but feel like I put a lot of people out for nothing. That's not true at all. Perhaps there may be some who would see your actions as self-righteous, but I believe they were meaningful. Of course they were, and I'm not in the business of telling my assistants what's right and wrong either. You did what you believed was right. That's good enough for me. So you got my thanks too. Well, you're welcome, but I couldn't have done any of it without a lot of help from others. Not everything had a happy conclusion since Elaine's father ended up arrested. But I'm still so glad that we're all able to gather like this again. Yeah. Me too. Our foes were a terrifying force to be reckoned with, but through everyone's cooperation, we triumphed. You deserve a lot of praise yourself, you know. Thinking back, there were a lot of times when I don't know what we would have done without you. We owe so much to the goddess, or maybe to our chief having the devil's own luck. Yeah, it could be. Either that, or because I made Lady Luck my bitch. What does that mean? Will you stop that? You really can't help yourself, can you? So we now have 6 Geneses in our possession. I doubt I could have ever gotten this far without all of you, so thank you. We were happy to help. That just leaves 2 now though, right? There are supposed to be 8 in all, so that should be the case. Professor Hamilton has been looking into where they could be, but nothing's come up so far. None have been discovered in any of Almata's bases or the garden's hideouts either. I'm sure they'll turn up eventually, just gotta keep looking.
So, now that we've dealt with Almata, things should be back to business as usual before long. There's still gonna be plenty on our plates, especially in the short term. But it's about time you guys started thinking about whether or not you want to keep working here.
I need to make cuts, guys. I can't afford you all if we're not dealing with crises. Man. I suppose it is getting to be that time. The way things are going, my primary task will be complete before much longer. I've still got other things I want to do here in the capital, at least. And hey, I'm not even employed here. Wasn't really talking to you, but since you seem so dead set against being here anyway, why not go home already? Well, I would, but the paparazzi here are such a headache. And the food here is so good. I get that they're a hassle, but come on, they have to have given up on your story by now. And Nina seems worried about you, so even if you don't go see your family, you should still go back to your old place. I will eventually. What are you, my mother? Perhaps you should discuss the situation with the owner of your apartment. I was talking to you, though. What? They're still covering all the trouble Almata caused, but I doubt that'll last more than a month. So unless I start taking on more subcontracted jobs, I'm not going to need to pay out for any assistance anymore, or have the budget to do it. Man. But... I plan to find those last 2 Geneses, but it's got to be on the side while I do other work from here on. So while a helping hand when I'm swamped would be nice, it's all I'm going to need you for. Besides, you're going to be loaded up with student council work for a good while after next month rolls around. That's true, but... What kind of work? Oh, there's going to be some big event taking place at Agnès' school in a few months. There's no need to hurry them into a decision. As you said, you still intend to help deal with the aftermath of Almata's actions. I will remain here to assist you with that as well, and the more we have on our side, the better. You're not wrong there.
I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that you should be thinking about this stuff. The Revolution Festival's in 3 days, and we're gonna be drowning in work until then for sure. Been a while since we could focus on 4 SPGs and Edith, so hope you're ready to dive in soon as breakfast is done.
I'll meet you guys back here at 10:30. What are you going to be up to in the meantime, Agnès? Oh, not much. I do have something that I need to do, though. I think I should take care of a software update that needs installing now, actually. Version 3.6.2 of the Kitty engine that was released last night. I was thinking the same thing. I'll just get going for now, then. Until later. So, she pushed an update, huh? Our ex-Kitty sure keeps herself busy. And I just know her workload in Horatio must have been nuts too. This is for the best, I think.
Yeah, just tell me what you want.
She hasn't done anything out of the ordinary since Horatio. There's still a lot of mysteries to be solved about both her and the Grendel. But those have got nothing to do with the others. Not even Agnès.
All along. I found it. Seems my work here is now done.
Still, maybe Master was right that I laid that on them out of nowhere. There's still time until we need to head out. Why don't I go check on him? It really was job cuts. Speak to all allies before getting to work? It's none of their business apart from the fact they've supported me throughout all this time. None of their business at all. Well, I mean, I got some new equipment at the end of that chapter, even if I didn't get the employer I wanted. To be employee of the month, res plus 400 from 248. A-res barely goes up, but that evasion might mean that Van just stops getting hit a fair bit. It's a 40% evasion check to begin with 39% critical and all the boost that we get from boosting in the first place. You get all the good stuff this time, buddy. Alright, what else is going on? Is there radio today? Let's listen to the radio rather than talk to them. What's the news today?
And now, a news break.
The main news break is... In at 10, we're finally in the finale.
Hope you're having a good one, listeners. Today's news briefing comes to us straight from the Tyrell Times. President Gramhart revealed 2 events for this year's Revolution Festival. A memorial service and a showcase of next-generation military equipment. The announcement has made waves not only within Calvard, but across Zemuria, a sign that this is set to be a boisterous one even by its standards.
Good old weapons.
Radio Network.
That's what we need, more weapons.
And now we bring you the weather. How's it looking for us?
Here are the latest forecasts for regions throughout the Republic. The upcoming weather appears to be getting in the festive spirit, as clear skies are once again predicted throughout the Revolution Festival. I'm sure we'll see scores of citizens out enjoying the day well worth celebrating when the time comes.
Thanks for the update. Edith Radio Network. Here we are with the latest in traffic.
Yes, these are the most recent reports on the road courtesy of the Calvard Roadway Information Center. Traffic is heavy across Calvard as people from throughout the country make their way to Edith to take part in the Revolution Festival. In particular, traffic restrictions will be enacted in the Vontai district in preparation for the festivities.
That's all we have for now.
Will that be the last radio we hear? The last time we hear that jingle now. It's around town after all. Right, what are we doing? Speak to us while we're getting to work after all, but where are we off to? Mostly everyone's in their room. And Agnès is up here. The last one to be spoken to. You're my ally, you're the most important. Good talk. So what's he doing now? Sleeping? Or standby mode, I guess? Well, no point in waking him up. Sleep tight. Okay then. And yes, you're not one of my allies, supposedly. So this is where you snuck off to? Yes, I had a quick errand to attend to. After all, you're my client. Are all your preparations squared away? Preparations? Feels like a bit of a stretch to call them that, but yeah, I'm ready. We've still got plenty of time, so no need to rush. Well, there's rushing, and then there's being efficient. Guess she's in the middle of something. I'll bug her later after my stuff's done. So you're the last one to speak to, are you? It's quite lovely out today. The sun feels wonderful. It's been some time since I last made the rounds. I think it's getting me excited. So we've got everyone up here, a couple of people downstairs. It is Ferry.
Aww.
Are those Central Eastern and Western history textbooks?
Oh, yeah! Agnès gave me the Western one. They're supposed to be the same edition, but there's a bunch of little differences between their contents and viewpoints. It's been really eye-opening comparing them, even if there's also lots of stuff I don't really understand.
Well, ain't you a budding scholar? If you can get your hands on the Far Eastern version, I bet you'd find all kinds of differences there too. Be interesting to compare them, actually. I'd be interested in that.
I was thinking the same thing. So, Aaron promised to give me his old copy. You know, before I met you, I barely left the village. Most of my life was spent inside of it. But Ida wasn't kidding when she talked about how big the outside world is. Even if I dedicated my entire life to studying, I doubt I could learn all there is to know about it.
Probably, yeah. Listen, I meant what I said earlier, but I probably shouldn't have brought it up out of nowhere the way I did.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. The timing is right. Now that Almata's gone, I feel like I've been able to avenge Ida's death. It sounds like Abi's willing to forgive me for disobeying his orders, too. I also miss Umi, my mom, and my siblings Lana and Camille, to tell you the truth. But I've also gotten used to living in Calvard, and I have a lot of fun at Sunday school. And more than anything else, I'd be really sad to say goodbye to you and everyone here.
Still, we're not talking about tomorrow or even next week, and even if you do go home, it's not like we'll never see each other again. If your goal is to become a real warrior, though, then I think the choice is clear.
I guess you're right.
Though you don't have to go down that path if you don't want to. There's plenty of things you could do off the battlefield. You could even try following a path more like Sylphide's.
You really think I could be like Vi?
I'm not pushing you to join the guild or anything, to be clear. Just saying it might be better than you following in your brother's footsteps.
Yeah, I think so too. Still, I never even considered becoming a bracer. Is it okay if I think more about it?
Think about it as long as you want. There's no rush. Just be ready to head out in a bit, okay?
Okay.
Also, don't commit, like, you said to become a bracer, so I must now become a bracer seems like the default thing that just hit her mind then. No, Ferry. Just saying you have choices. Maybe speak to Fee about things. Career prospects. For a fighter. So maybe think about what else I can do besides just going back home and being a warrior. I think I'm confusing myself about it. There are just so many options. So I want to take the time to really think it through. Thanks for all the help along the way, Van. It only took us 14 sessions to hit the finale. It's not long for trials though, surely. You look satisfied, Katara. Theo shall assist you, Katara.
Hello, Van. Oh, is it time to go already?
You still got time, don't worry. But damn, your drone is something. That speech is stiffer than a hollow's, but it's wild how you can hold a whole conversation with them.
Yeah, they don't have complete free will, but they do have a networked sense of self. Zeros is the same. They're around the same quality as those combat shells in the Empire, from what I understand. The other mare is leagues ahead of them on a technical scale, but Hades knows how long it'll take humanity to make something similar.
That'd be a tough ask even for Hamilton and Cronkite, huh?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking singularities here. Still, we know it's theoretically possible. That was proven by what happened behind the scenes 2 years ago. You've heard all about that, I assume.
A bit, yeah. I guess I don't even need to ask what you're gonna do once you graduate. Feels like a given that you'll be focusing on orbital drone research. Have you got your sights set even higher?
I'd like to help the professor with her work at some point, even if I don't feel like I'm quite ready yet. Still, I'd rather finish things here before moving on to something else. Working here has been incredible for broadening my horizons too, so I think continuing my studies here would be more than worth its while.
You think?
Basel has patently more in the way of facilities, but the orbital network is lightning quick these days. It's even helped me attend lectures at the Institute remotely, so it hasn't been half as inconvenient as I was expecting. Being here will also let me take part in the project to upgrade the network currently in use in Edith and the surrounding area. Though, at some point, I'd really like to broaden my studies at the Epstein Foundation, ZCF, and Reinford.
Makes sense. Man, a little boy who could only think of protecting his grandmother's home is all ready to take the world by storm. How grown up you are. You should have just joined us in the Springs instead of being shy.
What? Who are you, Aaron?
My bad. I only heard it after it came out of my mouth. But yeah, compared to the others, it hasn't been long since you moved in. If you're satisfied with the setup you got going on here, I don't see the harm in working from here for a while longer. Plus, you got Paulette to breathe down your neck if your health starts to nosedive from researching all night.
You're probably right. It's nice how she always worries. Still, are you sure you aren't going to need my help after this month? Almata might be out of the picture, but the issue of the Geneses is still ongoing. And there's still a lot we don't know about Mare, the Grendel, or Marduk either. Then there's whatever Yang, Professor Cronkite, is working on with the President.
You got a point. There's a lot going on. So if I need help with stuff, I'll be sure to come knocking. That means you come knocking if you need help with stuff too. I can investigate whatever you want, even down to the color of Cronkite's underwear.
That's so random. And don't think I didn't notice you patting me on the head.
You've become very red, Katra.
You catch a cold. Let me feel.
My temperature is perfectly normal, thank you very much.
I did want to mention, don't feel obligated to shoulder my workload. I appreciate it, but solving problems myself helps me learn more about the bigger picture. You never know when that knowledge base may come in handy. It's the remembering fact that everyone's renting these rooms separately and there's nothing to do with Van's business. Everyone could just go, no, we're staying. We like our rooms. These are our Edith bases. Why would they remotely have to leave? Must be working on stuff for Marduk. Probably about Almata. There's still a decent chunk of time until half past, so I'd better get out of her hair.
Oh, Mr. Arkride.
Sorry, I wouldn't have come in if I'd known you were working. All the Almata stuff almost wrapped up.
Yes. We've been able to pinpoint groups related to them, their dummy corporations, and other illegal channels. I admit to some surprise at just how far outside of Calvard their reach spreads. But Marduk has largely decontaminated the areas over which it has influence.
Your chief of security had a big role to play in that too, I'm sure. Though, who wants to bet Thorndyke will use this as a chance to expand Marduk's market share?
I suspect you would be on the winning side of that bet. Between the war against the Empire and the Tower and Crossbell appearing soon after, it feels like too much is happening too fast in Zemuria. As other countries seek to catch up with the Republic and its latest innovations, Zyphas, assault frames, I imagine the need for Marduk's services will only expand going forward.
Makes it abundantly clear we're living in a time of big change. And speaking of, you started thinking of the next step for yourself at all?
I am but a humble concierge. Nothing more, nothing less. My focus for the foreseeable future remains supporting you, Mr. Arkride, be that with Mare or with your stun caliber. I could do most of my work remotely as I did before, of course, but I am now aware of just how much more inefficient that is.
Gotcha. Sure wish I knew why your people love to have you in their eye on me so damn much. But I ain't gonna tell you what to do. We got an equal deal going on between us. Just keep in mind that starting next month, I'm not gonna need as much office help as I have been. Which is probably fine for you. Your plate's full enough without dealing with the day-to-day around here.
Well, I suppose I do. Though I would like to believe I'm making a fair contribution irrespective of that.
Summing up?
It's nothing, really. I was only thinking that I might not be able to help you from next month onward after all. You see, next month will mark 1 year since I was given this body, and it's about time it was given some thorough maintenance.
Oh, right.
Depending on matters here and the overall project status, I might have to return to my former environment. In that event, I would have no choice but to revert to assisting you remote.
Now hold up there. You really gonna be okay with that?
So you have an inkling as to what that former environment was? What gave it away? Was it something about the way I work? No, I suppose there isn't any point in me knowing.
Nah, it wasn't anything like that. Just...
Please, don't misunderstand. As you're aware, Marduk is a logical, impartial corporation. So long as I keep demonstrating I can provide value to them, I don't doubt they will keep letting me use this body. In that regard, our relationship is quite equitable. I even plan to purchase it from them if all goes well.
Huh, that's an option. State-of-the-art artificial body can't run cheap, though.
It most certainly is costly. But with my salary, I think it's possible that I could have enough Mira saved in a few years. My current arrangement here earns me even more than my remote work did, too. So I would like to keep at it as long as possible.
Hey, happy to help. So I'm curious, just how high a salary are we talking anyway?
Well, I can't give you a specific number since that's classified information. But about enough to buy an Etwas entry-level sedan?
You could buy a used apartment in the suburbs with that kind of money. I don't believe I've ever divulged how I spend my savings in retrospect. I'm not sure what my job responsibilities will entail after next month's maintenance. But I believe I'll continue to explore my transfer options. They do seem quite attractive. Man, could have told me earlier. We could all be clever together to like afford money for you to have your body as your body. Feels a bit mean to leave it without just, you know... It's for a great cause.
So you're going back to your apartment?
Yeah, I guess that's the plan. I must have worried you sick, huh? It looks like Buzz Raiders finally given up on their stupid obsession with me, so it seems safe enough to live there again.
There's been so much going on lately that I'm sure they've got bigger fish to fry now.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. I've actually been wanting to thank you for helping out Judith for a while now. Please pass on my regards to everyone else as well, including the family who runs the bistro.
Now hold your horses! I'm the one who's been helping him out, so why is he the one getting thanked?
Because I'm sure that you just weaseled your way into his trips outside the capital without taking no for an answer. I don't know all you've been up to, but I do know that you were able to return in one piece thanks to Arkride Solutions' efforts. And with how much I respect you as my senior in the industry, I think it's only natural for me to want to say thank you.
So you respect me that much, huh? I mean, not that it isn't perfectly natural for you to respect me, of course.
Never takes much to butter her up, though I'm sure our young lady here just so happens to be an expert at it.
She's become such a sassy little thing. She was so cute and polite when she first started out, but look at her now. All that success must be going to her head.
That was 3 years ago, right? Though I don't know if 15's early or late for starting out in your industry.
It's not late, but it's not really early either. I started acting at 14 myself. A lot of actors and actresses get their first roles when they're children even, which just goes to show how much of an unusual case she is. She ended up going from a rookie to a top actress in 3 years, which is just crazy.
I can see why though. I've seen a few of her films and it's interesting seeing how different her approach to the craft is compared to yours. You can handle any kind of role that's thrown at you, yeah, but she just fully becomes the character she's playing without even trying.
I didn't realize you knew your way around different acting techniques. I agree with you too. Her performance in Wolf's Requiem was amazing, but Gloria just blew me away.
Yeah, her Sheena Dirt was something else. I haven't watched it yet. The media kicked up all that fuss about an Easterner playing the role, but in the end it was hard to see her as anything other than Sheena Reborn.
Boy, she's 4 years my junior and already she's nipping at my heels. She's sure not making it easy to stay top dog. But I say bring it on. I don't plan to go down without a fight.
Good. I got nothing but respect for that spunk you got in you. Real shame about the rest of you though.
You better watch your darn mouth. And while I'm at it, I think what you said earlier was pretty out of line, too.
Right.
So, now that we've dealt with Almata, things should be back to business as usual before long. But it's about time you guys started thinking about whether or not you want to keep working here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wow, I didn't expect you to outright admit it. Then...
Still, you don't want people butting in on your side hustle either, do you?
Well, no, but that's not the same thing. I inherited my techniques from my mom and hers before her, and while they might not be legal, I still think the world needs... Oh, I get you now. I don't know what your secret is, but you've got something you don't want people to get involved in too, huh? Or I guess... something you can't afford to let them get involved in.
Anyway, as two people who transform into things a teenager might have dreamed up, we gotta look out for each other. I don't know if I'm down to get caught living with an actual criminal though, so you should still probably find some other place to live.
But I really don't want to give this place up.
You don't have to.
Well, I've got my next film's premiere coming up, so I'll go back to my old place before the festival, at least. I just wish I didn't have a bunch of stuff to report to Mom and Grammy first.
But enough about me. I get why you draw that line where you do. But the way I see it, or the way they see it, I think it's fine. Sure. Right then, we still have loads of people to speak to in this Speak to All Allies Before Getting to Work sweep. Before we even start our sweep. Alon, what are you reading? Let me have a look, see, I'm trying to look. Girl, oh, okay, we know what you're reading. Girls. Honestly, kinda nice to have you still acting the same around times like these.
What? You come to talk about that cold bunk you said to the kiddos? If it was gonna eat away at you, you shouldn't have said it in the first place. Looks lame when a dad past his prime sulks over his teenage kids.
Quit finding ways to call me old. Besides, you seem to have it in your head I wasn't talking to you, but I was. You gotta have plans to go back home eventually, right?
Sure do. I'm a born and bred Longport boy. And I always will be. But I've only been here for 3 months. That's barely enough time to miss me. So unless I've got some specific reason to head back, I'm staying put. But I wouldn't mind going to a few other places, like Crossbell or Arabonia. Hell, I'd even put Eastern Zemuria on the table.
Yeah, look at you go.
Knock it off with the my baby's growing up vibe. Oh, and let's get one thing straight. Me staying in the capital doesn't mean I'm gonna be at your beck and call. If the girls left and this place turned into a total sausage fest, I don't even want to think about how sad a sight that'd be.
Hey, don't give me that look. I'm not after your pity, alright? By the way, your old problem ain't showing any sign of resurfacing, right?
You mean that tyrant? Yeah, nothing there. Yen can call me a reincarnation all he wants, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm as me as I can be. I decide what I want to do with my life. Not some dusty old relic from the ancient past.
Yeah, you're a one-of-a-kind cocky little bastard, you know that?
And what's that supposed to mean? Don't be such a freaking creep. Anyway, you lost so I can have my fun. Though, if you don't mind waiting to kick some ass on the clock, that'll give me time to go tap some ass off the clock.
We ain't putting off work for that. Just how much have you been getting around when I haven't been looking? I mean, my main problem with your magazines is if you're gonna pay money for something like that, at least more than just swimsuits. Goodness me. I've never bought one myself. And I never will. But it doesn't seem worth the money. Who died and made you my grandpa? Go read the kids a bedtime story or something. Just let me do my thing, yeah? Got some booty calls I want to make. You can just look at a catalog for that, I guess. No knowledge, however.